We can improve your people through training and 3D skills development.
Equip your business with the latest 3D technology.
Help you to set up the optimal process.
And introduce you to new innovative manufacturing techniques. Discover the solutions available from Javelin.
All right, welcome everybody to our SOLIDWORKS 2018 launch broadcast. I'm Scott.
My name is Sam, and we're taking a look at the new features of SOLIDWORKS 2018.
Absolutely, we're very, very excited to have you guys with us. And just before we get started, just want to go over some exciting new changes with Javelin. So a lot of you might know that we've got offices from coast to coast, which allows us to give you guys a ton of support, right? With the time differences, everything like that. Coming in January 2018, Javelin is actually opening a brand new office in Kitchener, Ontario. So we know that this is a countrywide broadcast, but we're really, really excited about this. This is going to be the biggest 3DP or 3D printing facility in the world. And we're partnering with a company called MyShop. So we're going to be able to help a lot of customers out in the Kitchener area. We're going to be running some training classes out of here. We're going to be doing some expos out of this. It's really, really great. It's right in the heart of Canada's technology triangle. So again, January 2018, I encourage you, if you're in the area, to pop by and check it out.
It's going to be huge.
Absolutely. Also, if you guys are on Twitter, you want to let us know what some of the good features or the features that you like on SOLIDWORKS 2018 are. We do have a hashtag going, hashtag SW2018Canada. And if you guys just attach that to your tweets, you have a chance to win some great online gift cards as well. So send us over what you like about SOLIDWORKS 2018. Also, there's going to be a survey coming out to you guys. If you could fill that out, it would be great. You've got a great chance to win one of 6 Javelin Online Training Advanced Update courses to sharpen up your SOLIDWORKS skills, as well as a grand prize of a MakerBot Mini so that you can have your desktop 3D printer. So make sure you complete that by October the 13th. You got a little bit of time, but fill that out for us. So today, we're going to split out the new features in 2018 into a few different categories. So we're going to start with design and how SOLIDWORKS 2018 can allow us to design more fluidly and more free using some of the new features and advanced functions. Also, communication. We've got a lot of great communication solutions in the SOLIDWORKS Innovation Platform. We'll see some of the innovations and enhancements in 2018 for those as well. We're going to get into manage the development of not only our CAD files, but also our project files, and how to increase the intelligence of our manufacturing using SOLIDWORKS 2018. Starting with design. So we're going to start in the user experience, and there's been some exciting new enhancements for 2018. The first being that your My SOLIDWORKS login now ties directly into SOLIDWORKS. So we can do things like synchronize all of our device settings. Also, for CAD admins, you get a little bit more information. So you can see any products associated to users, you can see all your license usages, and you can even change machine activations to online activations. So this helps out a lot with the deactivation and activation of licenses. So you could be working at work. If you go to a different SOLIDWORKS installation or you go home to work for a little bit, when you log in on that installation of SOLIDWORKS, it's going to automatically deactivate at work and activate wherever you're logged in. So some exciting new enhancements on the user experience when it comes to online licensing. Also in the user experience, we've got a brand new welcome screen in SOLIDWORKS 2018. We've got a new assembly open progress indicator that tells us exactly along the way where we are in opening our parts. We've got assembly performance visualization. So assembly visualization is a great tool we've had in SOLIDWORKS for a long time. It's even better in 2018, and it's a lot quicker to get to as well. We have a top-level transparency option. We've got smart color-coded folders letting us know, the state of the parts that are inside of the folders. Mouse gestures have been retooled for 2018, and we also have a new select over geometry option. This is really great for injecting a little bit more efficiency into our selection process. So let's take a look at SOLIDWORKS 2018. So we'll start with the new welcome screen. So this is our new welcome screen. And just like 2017 and before, we can still start a new part, assembly, or drawing. Except we've got a lot more information right at our fingertips. We've got things like all of our recent folders that we've been working with. Also, resources. We've got one-click resources, things like My SolidWorks or the forum or the customer portal. We also have access on some tabs to things like tutorials or technical alerts straight from SolidWorks so that we always know what's going on with SolidWorks. And right back from our home tab, we also have access to all of our recent documents, which lets us pick off exactly where we left off last time we were in SolidWorks. So if we go ahead and open up an assembly, you'll see we have a new assembly open progress indicator. And this is telling us how many parts we're opening, what part of the opening process are we in, how long is it taking to open, and if I've opened this before, it's also going to say how long it took last time I opened it. And if it takes longer than 60 seconds, we're going to automatically get a link directly to performance evaluation, which is going to allow us to jump in there and try to figure out, hey, what's taking so long to open, or is there anything that might be inhibiting my performance? And speaking of performance evaluation, which is a fantastic tool for diagnosing slower assemblies, it's been retooled in 2018. You can see we've got all the bar graphs. It's very, very clean. We still have all of the information that we had in 2017, but we also have more information, like graphics triangles and image quality. So in one touch, I can see any parts that might be slowing my assembly down because maybe the image quality is a little bit too high. I also have a one-touch to assembly visualization right from our performance evaluation tab. So this takes me right to assembly visualization, and it's already set up to help diagnose for speed of our assembly. You can see I've got graphics triangles, I've got SolidWorks open time, and assembly visualization is a great tool for color coding our entire assembly so that we can figure out visually, hey, what might be slowing us down here? And sometimes it's a part that you don't necessarily expect. For instance, this USB charger right here. You can see it's fairly high on our list, meaning that it's got some pretty high graphics triangles in there, but it's just a small part. It doesn't need to be that high of a detail. So using assembly visualization makes it very easy to troubleshoot these so that we can bring it down to the detail level that's appropriate. And depending on how many times we use it on our assembly, this could quite significantly speed up our entire assembly. For transparencies, we now have a one-touch top-level transparency mode. So I just right-click right at the top level. I can turn that on. It's a mode, so I can toggle everything transparent. This really gives me a deeper dive into my model, especially if I want to see what's inside of what. Instead of going through and individually making parts transparent and then making them non-transparent again, I can just touch it, and then once I'm done, put it right back to where it was before, and I can continue using my assembly how I was. Also, at a folder level, if I have any parts inside of my assembly that are hidden or any parts inside of my assembly that are suppressed, we can now see that right at the top level on our folders. So you can see we get a nice little shaded view of the state of the parts in the folders. Even if I have a combination of all three, it's going to update and let me know that I've got hidden, suppressed, and shown parts all in this folder. So it gives us a good idea of what's going on inside of there before we even look inside of the folder. And then for mouse gestures, they've also been retooled in 2018 as well. So if we're working with two mouse gestures, we now have the option to go vertical or horizontal, and we can have up to 12 mouse gestures in 2018. You might also notice that we have a new mouse gesture guide. So instead of picking an arrow or a direction to apply for a gesture, everything is now just a quick drag and drop. And if I want to drag and drop between states, I just hold down Control, and I can easily change out any of my mouse gestures. And if I need any kind of guide to keep track of what gestures I have applied where, I can now print that out very quickly and just pop it right on my desk. So great new enhancements for gestures. Lastly, with the user experience is selecting over geometry. So if this was 2017 or earlier, and I wanted to select any one of these parts, I'd have to zoom out and select from the white space. That's not the case in 2018. It's incredibly easy. All we use is our drop-down selection and select over geometry. Now this is also available on our S key, which I hope everybody's using, our shortcut key, right? It's also available right there, or by default, it's on the letter T on our keyboard. Once I do that, it turns on select over geometry, and I can grab all the geometry that I need incredibly easy. And to turn it off, I just hit T again. So great new enhancements on the user experience in SOLIDWORks 2018.
I'm loving the new user experience for SOLIDWORks. SOLIDWORks 2018 delivers some great capabilities when it comes to enhancing current sketch workflows. First, let's take a look at mirroring 3D sketch geometry. Then we'll take a look at reversing arc and spline tangency. And then lastly, we have a new option to rotate normal to sketch on edit. Let's jump in and take a look. Here we have a subframe which we're working on. And let's go ahead and edit the support bar. When we take a look at the support bar, we notice that this arc, it's not the way that it should be. So we could go in 2018 and reverse that with just a click of a button. Very easy. And let's take a look at mirroring this 3D sketch geometry. It's as simple as grabbing everything, using the same mirror entities as in Sketch, and we could go ahead and click on a reference plane for this 3D sketch geometry. And now we have the same, and we already have all of the symmetrical features. So what we could do is, even if I move this around, even if I go ahead and change this to another number or another dimension, everything on the other side will update. So now let's go ahead and grab our sweep feature and see how well it updates in the actual assembly. And notice how in the assembly, everything works the way it should. So a lot of new features in 2018 for sketching that are going to make us more flexible when we're working. Touch mode. Touch mode is a brand new feature for 2018. It's going to allow us to interact with our parts like we couldn't before. We can manipulate our parts, move them around. To do that, we have our new touch mode toolbar. We have a zoom magnifier to allow us to get better visual representation of our parts and assemblies. And we have larger context and gesture menus made just for our fingertips. Next, touch sketching. So touch sketching, so we could do now freehand sketching using a Windows 10 touch-enabled device. So we can automatically convert our pen strokes to shapes, as well as sketch entities at any time. And here to talk about this is our application expert, Colin Murphy.
SOLIDWORKS 2018 introduces some fantastic new capabilities for customers working on Windows touch-enabled devices. Accessible from the View menu, the new Touch mode places important shortcuts at your fingertips, enabling you to maintain a high degree of productivity when using your device in tablet mode without a physical keyboard or mouse present. With Touch mode enabled, the new Touch toolbar is placed at the side of the screen for easy access, configurable for left or right-handed users. Now you can work concurrently using both hands on the screen, manipulating the model with one and evoking commands with the other. Let's go ahead and check the clearance of one of the drawers with the oven door. Located on the Touch toolbar, the handy Lock Rotate option allows you to interact with geometry on screen without accidentally moving the model. And the Quick Access shortcut bar can be activated, giving you instant access to common commands. In this example, Move Component. With rotation locked, selections can now be made with just a single finger tap on screen, and then with a finger drag, the drawer can be moved through its range of motion. At any time, you can easily return to rotating and zooming the model with your fingers by tapping Lock Rotate on the Touch toolbar to disable it. When working in Touch mode, mouse gestures are another great way of accessing frequently used commands at your fingertips. With an on-screen finger press and drag, the mouse gesture ring is displayed. Next, simply move your finger over the desired command to activate it. To bring the tap closer into view, we'll first select Zoom to Area, followed by a finger swipe to define the zoom region. Making modifications to a design using touch interactions in 2018 is quick and intuitive. For example, changing the configuration of this tap to a larger size. Following the same workflow as using a mouse, a single finger tap on a face is all that's required to select the entity and display the relevant context menu commands. Icons appear larger for easy selection with a finger or pen, and right mouse button menu commands can be accessed via the down arrow. A new configuration of the tap can be easily selected and applied with a few finger taps on screen, replicating traditional mouse picks. The final change required to this design is an increase in the height of the shelf situated behind the sink. The new Touch Magnifier tool is a great way of enlarging a small area to make a selection, while keeping the rest of your design in view. Just press your finger or pen on the screen for longer than 2 seconds, and then drag the magnifier into position. At the same time, dynamically adjust the zoom level using the controls on the Touch toolbar, and when your finger is released, the object in the crosshair stays selected. Easy! When editing a feature or dimension, the new Touch number pad makes it quick to enter values, eliminating the need to use the Windows virtual keyboard that can sometimes take up valuable screen space. Whether on the move or in the office, SOLIDWORKS 2018 Touch Mode delivers a powerful set of productivity tools for working on touchscreen devices. Also, with SOLIDWORKS 2018, you can capture your design ideas even faster when using a Windows Touch-enabled device by freehand sketching with either your finger, pen, or stylus directly into a sketch. Let's go ahead and design a new draining board pattern for this sink. Simply start a sketch on either a plane or face, and then using the brand new set of tools available from the Command Manager, first set your preferred pen style using the color palette and thickness slider, then you're ready to go. Different sketch modes enable you to choose how your gestures are interpreted by SOLIDWORKS. Using Auto Shape, your captured pen or finger strokes are initially converted into true geometric shapes, such as lines, arcs, and circles, perfect for sketching out concepts. Switch to Auto Sketch entities, and your strokes are converted directly into sketch entities as you draw them, making them immediately available for feature creation. As you sketch, on-screen relations to surrounding geometry can be automatically inferred as you go, enabling instant capture of design intent. For example, these two concentric circles for the plug hole area. Pen strokes that have been captured as shapes can be converted into sketch entities at any time by selecting them and then using the new Update to Entities feature, giving you complete flexibility as your ideas develop. When you're finished, the resulting sketch can be manipulated and modified just like any other. For example, adding some fillets to round off the corners and dynamically dragging entities to further refine the overall shape. Mirroring the two contours about a center line completes the overall design. With the sketch now complete, a simple extrude used in combination with the contour select tool is all that's required to add the draining board geometry to the sink. Whether you're designing complex shapes or simple mechanical parts, touch sketching in SOLIDWORKS 2018 offers a completely new approach to capturing rapid-fire design ideas, whether you're in the office or on the go.
So some great new enhancements in SOLIDWORKS 2018 when it comes to using those tablets and the touch capabilities. Let's talk about another feature, which is tab and slot. This is a new sheet metal feature in SOLIDWORKS 2018. And we can use it in a number of different places, whether it's a part, a multi-body part, or an assembly, but it's also so much more than just a sheet metal part feature. And I want to show you some other places that we can use it as well. So let's go take a look at the tab and slot. So here I've got a multi-body sheet metal part. And kind of the way that the sheet metal industry has been going for quite a while now is self-fixturing. So with self-fixturing, you don't have to build a third-party fixture and spend money and time putting it together. You can have the actual part itself locate so that you can weld it together. So in this particular case, in 2017 and before, this would take a number of different features. But in 2018, it's a breeze. So we can go ahead and pop that back together. And how do I use tab and slot? I just go to my sheet metal tab. I can start a tab and slot. And it's as simple as selecting an edge for where we want the tab to start and a face we want the tab to go up to. And you can see we get a nice little preview right in our model window. And I've got a lot of great options within my tab and slot tool. I can choose how many tabs I want. I can choose the offsets from either edge, in this case maybe 20 millimeters. I can even choose the length of my tabs. How wide do I want them to be? As well as end conditions like blind up to surface or offset from surface. And relief types. Do I want my edges filleted or do I want them chamfered, and how big do I want that to be? As well as clearances between the slot and the tab. Do I want a looser fit for my part? Do I want it to be a little bit tighter? I've got a whole bunch of options. And as soon as I accept that, done. SOLIDWORKS takes care of all of the heavy lifting and automatically puts those tabs and slots in there. And because these are SOLIDWORKS features, they're very easy to go back and edit at any time. So if I wanted to add additional tabs or slots in, I can go ahead and just choose the edge that I want to add we'll start a new group. Choose the edge I want to add the slot to, and then just choose the face I want it to go up to. Done. I can go ahead and accept that, and everything's been updated. So you can see if we open up our exploded view now, all of those tabs and slots have been put in exactly where I wanted to. And again, this is a sheet metal feature, and it is great in sheet metal, especially complex sheet metal parts. Things like cylinders, we can use the tab and slot option here for being able to roll this together correctly and to weld this, but also in non-sheet metal parts, things like weldments. We want to be able to hold all of these members in place while we weld them. So you can use tab and slot for that as well. And even non-metal parts. Things like cardboard, right? We might have to make boxing or packaging for our parts. We can use sheet metal for cardboard, and we can do some pretty advanced things with the tab and slot to be able to put this together in an intelligent way. So great new feature, great different use cases for it. There's a number of different ways that we can utilize it. So definitely when you guys start up with SOLIDWORKS 2018, give it a shot. It's fantastic.
What a huge time saver. Now, mesh modeling. In 2018, we can take our mesh data to the next level by incorporating our mesh geometry within our SOLIDWORKS designs. First, we have support for more mesh file formats, such as STL, OBJ, or other additive manufacturing files. We can convert our mesh regions directly into surfaces by using new tools. We can utilize mesh bodies. We have the option for default file open, as well as using advanced features such as Boolean and body operations. And we can apply section views as well as materials. Jumping into SOLIDWORKS, let's open up a part like we would with a SOLIDWORKS part, for instance. And again, by using open, we can go ahead and filter out what we want to look for. And in 2018, of course, we have more file formats for our mesh files. And as soon as we open it up, we can apply materials. And applying these materials, we can also use our real view appearances, and we can do some graphical section cuts. So we can see exactly what's going through our part. Another big thing inside of mesh is being able to pull our surfaces from this mesh data. And that's by using our new tool called Surface for Mesh. And then we can pull out all of these shapes. And we also have a new tool in 2018 that's going to allow us to paint over these surfaces. So we just go around and paint around the surfaces. We don't have to get everything because SOLIDWORKS is going to automatically pull the rest of the faces off. And we can obviously use other shapes. So we could go through and select this cylindrical shape, for instance. And again, SOLIDWORKS will automatically pull the rest of the faces off and get all of that surface information. As soon as we're done from our surfaces, we can go ahead and use tools such as knit surface, for example, and then go ahead and pull that. So all of this is done from within our mesh geometry that we weren't able to do before. When that's done, we have some new features such as when we're working within our mesh, we can convert to mesh bodies. And then we can also start sketching, such as we do with our SOLIDWORKS parts and assemblies. So we can go through and start our sketching onto our mesh geometry. And we can apply these geometries right within our mesh models. So we can apply these shapes like we would within SOLIDWORKS. And of course, when we're done with all of our sketch entities, we can go back to our part and we can apply features such as extrude boss as well as extrude cuts. So we can go through, select on what we want, and we can go ahead and apply these features. And these features will automatically set them to a solid body, as you see on the left-hand side. And to work with it, we're going to be converting it to mesh bodies. Also a new tool in 2018. And then we could use Boolean operations, such as combine, to go ahead and choose what we want to keep and what we want to get rid of. When we're done with that, we could go ahead and place it within our assemblies, and then we can incorporate that within our SOLIDWORKS designs. So mesh modeling, again, new tools that's going to make working with mesh modeling, mesh geometry a lot easier, a lot quicker, and giving us that flexibility with mesh.
So absolutely, some great enhancements there, especially working with mesh. We can keep doing more and more with mesh in 2018. Moving into assemblies and assembly modeling. So now we can rotate with linear patterns. So linear patterns are a very powerful patterning tool. We can now add rotation to that as well. When I'm in my mate dialog, I can now hide faces that I don't need using Alt to get parts that are in a different unit system or imported parts from other CAD systems where things don't line up perfectly. So now we can choose to disable misaligned mates in SOLIDWORKS 2018. And we have smart explode lines so that we can more easily communicate how all of our parts in our assembly go together. Also with magnetic mates, this was a great tool introduced in 2017 for doing things like plant layouts and assembly line layouts. In 2018, there's been some great enhancements with being able to use multiple ground planes, so if we're making multi-level layouts. We've been able to lock our magnetic mates since the beginning. Now it's just a little bit more pronounced. We get a little lock button when we go to place our magnetic mate. And also when we insert magnetic mate components, we have a choice that we can cycle through our mate connectors and choose exactly how they mate. We can do that using the open and the close bracket. So let's take a look at some of these great assembly and magnetic mate enhancements. Starting with our linear pattern. So if we open up this mug holder right here, so our linear pattern feature has always been very, very powerful and a great way to pattern out any of our assembly features. And now in 2018, we've got a checkbox for rotate instances. And to use this, all I need to do is grab a rotational reference, and automatically you can see it update in our model view. I can choose exactly how much I want to rotate these instances, making it incredibly powerful and incredibly quick to do very advanced operations. Also, with mating in 2018, inside of my mate dialog, I can now hide surfaces that I don't want to see to get to the surfaces that I do. So if I start my mate dialog box and I just mouse over the surface I want to hide and I hit Alt, it's going to automatically hide that for me and I can get to that surface that I want to mate. Also, when we're mating in holes, sometimes they don't line up perfectly, whether they've been imported or, again, in a different unit system. So in this particular case, if I add in a concentric mate here, notice on this side it doesn't quite look perfect. So if I go ahead and try to add a concentric mate, it's going to tell me that I can add a misaligned mate. So this is nice because I can choose which mate is the misaligned one. I can say maybe make it the other mate, or maybe split the difference and make them both symmetric. I can see the deviation from concentricity of both mates, and I can set a maximum deviation. Notice that is grayed out, so this can actually be set as a document property. So if your CAD admin sets it in the part or the assembly template, then you'll know that you only have a maximum deviation that you can utilize. You can also shut this off in the settings as well. So if you don't want to use misaligned mates, you don't have to, but it's certainly a great new enhancement in SOLIDWORKS 2018 for assemblies. Moving into smart explode lines. So when we have an exploded view, explode lines are a great way to further communicate how our parts go together. And with smart explode lines, it's easier than ever to be able to do this. All we have to do is right-click, and in one touch, SOLIDWORKS does all of our explode lines for us. And these are very easy to work with. If I want to change where they're referencing from, it's as simple as a drag and a drop. Even if I want to change multiple parts at once, for instance, this bolt, maybe I want to reference from this front edge. All I have to do is say apply it to all of the instances of that component, and SOLIDWORKS does the rest, saving me a load of time. I hit escape, those are done, and of course if anything changes in our assembly, all of our smart explode lines update as well. And moving into magnetic mates for 2018. So again, a lot of great enhancements, the first being those ground planes. It's very easy to create a ground plane and switch to one. If I want to switch to, in this case, the upper mezzanine, it's as easy as a double click, and now all of my magnetic mates will snap to that second floor. I can go ahead and insert a magnetic mate, which is just like inserting any part or assembly, and you'll see that it snaps right to that floor. I can rotate it using tab, and I can drop it right into place. And in 2018, notice when I drop it into place, I've got this little lock button right at the tip of my mouse, making it a lot easier to lock our magnetic mates in place, especially if we don't want to be able to just grab them and move them anywhere we want. If I insert one more conveyor here, we can see when I drag it close to my next magnetic mate, if I use the open bracket on my keyboard, I can choose where I'm mating from on the part I'm dragging in, and if I use the close bracket, where I'm mating to on the part it's mating to, giving me more control when placing these magnetic mates. So great new enhancements to assemblies and magnetic mates in SOLIDWORKS 2018. Also in SOLIDWORKS Electrical, so transitioning from the mechanical CAD into the electronic CAD. There's some great new enhancements in global project settings, components and wire marks, electrical libraries, and also terminals. And here to talk about this is our electrical product expert, Delvin Masalamani.
With SOLIDWORKS Electrical 2018, project-wide changes are no longer time-consuming, requiring edits, updates to each symbol, wire, and title block. The new Drawing Style Configuration Manager can be found under Configuration tab, allows you to quick access to control layers, line styles, and text styles globally, instead of schematic by schematic basis. Here, we will define a new layer for revision clouds. As with other configurations, the project settings is used to define the configuration applied to this project. We can now easily access the new layer and its properties from any schematic in the project, saving time. The new attribute tab in the project configuration defines the appearance of attributes throughout the project from one place. We can add existing attributes from symbols or titles, as well as create our own, adding a symbol attribute here for a tag to change the appearance of component marks without modifying the original symbols. It takes seconds to create a unified appearance throughout a project. While we're looking at a project configuration, note that on the Font tab, additional formula managers have been added. Now the tags for location and function outlines can be customized. Let's modify the location outline tag to include more descriptive text. Immediately, this change is reflected in our project outlines, creating a custom look with ease. Let's take a closer look at our wires. With SOLIDWORKS Electrical 2018, turning marks and labels for wires on and off across the whole project is a snap. The Wire Style Manager has a new display style option to set the appearance of the wire tags across the whole project quickly. Like with symbols, a new prompt provides the option to update all identical title blocks in the project with the same change. With the new global settings, project-wide changes are faster and more accurate than ever. The components on this schematic are at another location, and the wiring marks should reflect the independent location and not continue the same mark increment. In the numbering group dialog box, accessed from the Wire Style Manager, set marks unique by to location in addition to the project book or file. Now, let's take a look at this section of wires. If one of these wires is deleted, redrawn, or numbered, what mark will it get? Previously, it would not look for the lowest available mark and automatically take the highest existing mark and increment by 1. In this case, that would be 9. In 2018, you can control this default response not just for wires but for cables components as well. In the Wire and Component Numbering dialog box, for Assign Unused Mark, select Wires and Equipotential, Cables or Components. If you enable any of these options on the Renumber software, we'll use the first available mark from 0. Here, for now, it will use 6 and the first unused mark after 0. While we are here in the Mark tab, let's take a quick look at another new feature. Sort by Mark mode provides control over all lists of marks in projects. Both methods will intelligently now place the zip ties and reorganize 11 instead of 1 on 1. The major difference is when manual mark items are grouped with automatic items or separately. DWG import can now reconnect gaps in wire connections during the import process. At first glance, these lines appear connected. On zoom in it, apparently the lines do not actually make contact. In 2018, during the import, the wizard has a new option to specify an offset radius point within the radius defined to connect on imported schemes. This is a great way to ensure connectivity on non-native drawings. Greater flexibility when defining project marks ensure the design meets all documentation requirements with less rework. In 2018, it is even easier to organize your components in a fashion that works best for your business. New in SOLIDWORKS Electrical 2018, we can create custom classifications and subclasses. Let's add a new connector subclassification for 38999 connectors. User data file names define the baseline structure for the new classification, speeding up creation. Note, the custom classes have unique icons. Now that our custom connector classification is set up, let's examine some manufacturing parts. First, let's find our existing 38999 connectors and then move them into the newly created connector subclassification. A closer look at one of our connector paths showed the new fields that have been added to be sure your part contains all information you need. The data sheet fields link a PDF directly to the manufacturing part for quick reference. Just put the file path in the shown to keep the library size concise. User data fields are available on manufacturing parts. If you do not use the ERP data connections, these can be utilized as a custom search field while filtering parts. The Cable Reference Manager has a new field as well. Cables can be given a prefabricated cable length. This value can be then shown in the BOMs and other reports. prefabricated cable lengths are critical fields for projects that are not using electrical 3D. Modifying existing symbols and attributes is even easier. Enhancements to the Edit Symbol tab created the Modify Index commands, using quickly to modify the index language of attributes while editing symbols. There is also a similar Modify Revision Index command in the title block editor. Additionally, when you edit passive symbols, manufacturer parts, characteristics, and options are locked from changes, as these options are not applicable to passive symbols. Create complex designs with ease using a detailed and customizable library. In SOLIDWORKS 2018, customizing multi-level terminals has never been faster. As seen here, a terminal strip parts and accessories are now easier to manage than before. Manufacturing parts can now be added directly to the top-level terminal strip, ideal for adding accessories that do not need a footprint representation. Accessories that do, like stops and spacers, can be added directly to the strip editor. They are represented in the bill of materials, on the terminal strip drawings, and the 2D cabinet layouts for simple, accurate documentation. The new terminal mark mode gives each level a mark, independent from the terminal mark, for improved granularity. The order of level marking is observed during renumber procedures with both vertical and horizontal options. Note, the visual indication of the numbering directions. Terminals within a single strip can be different modes, give you total flexibility in your design. Let's look at the updates to the terminal strip configuration manager. We will define the appearance of your accessories, parts on the terminal strip drawing with a symbol, as well as verify the multi-level separator appearance. New in 2018, the distance between cables in the terminal strip drawings can be adjusted as well, further customizing the terminal strip drawing. The terminal manufacturer parts have a new field for the terminal strip symbol. This symbol will be included in generated terminal strip drawings. Now you can define the representation of all components. Let's generate the terminal strip drawing to view all these enhancements in action. While the drawing has been heavily customized, these results are still automatically generated, saving you time to focus on designing. The accessories needed in the terminal strip editor can also be inserted into our 2D cabinet layout drawing as well, to create scaled out layouts right in SOLIDWORKS electrical schematic. With these new tools, customizing all aspects of terminals is fast and easy, ensuring your designs are never behind schedule.
So some fantastic new enhancements in SOLIDWORKS Electrical for 2018. Along the same lines as Electrical is SOLIDWORKS PCB, and SOLIDWORKS PCB saw a ton of enhancements in 2017 through all of the different service packs. And in 2018, we can do more like HTTPS support for SOLIDWORKS PCB. So we have the option to get more secure when passing our ECAD and MCAD data back and forth. We also have a new IPC footprint wizard in SOLIDWORKS PCB to quickly create step files of all of our IPC compliant components. We have a schematic symbol wizard that allows for configurations and setup of things like pinouts for schematics. A new database or DB link option that can do an ODBC connection to ERPs to grab project information. Also, component movement has changed in SOLIDWORKS PCB. Now, if we move a component, it's only going to move in the X and the Y direction. It's not going to move in the Z direction, meaning that we're not going to compromise any of the integrity of our board. And also collaboration performance in PCB. So the same assembly in 2017 that would take 45 minutes to open now takes around 8 minutes. And it updates in 35 seconds. So a huge boost in performance in SOLIDWORKS PCB.
I mean, a lot of companies do require that collaboration between electrical CAD and mechanical CAD. So
absolutely, especially with PCB. I mean, we know how expensive a prototype board is, and if we can save 1 or 2 prototypes, it's a huge savings for the company.
Definitely. And speaking about prototypes, now let's move on to SOLIDWORKS Simulation. And SOLIDWORKS Simulation in 2018 comes with a lot of nice enhancements to save us time and give us more control over our designs. Starting it off with stress singularity detection. That's going to be helping us find all those weak areas. Next, importing study features from subassemblies as well as parts, looking at updated pin connectors, and lastly, email notifications. Let's jump in and take a look. Inside SOLIDWORKS Simulation, let's open up and look at this bracket, and we want to find out the problem areas. And Part of that is doing a hotspot diagnosis. And hotspot diagnosis came out in 2017. And it allowed us to detect all of these hotspots. In 2018, now we're able to do stress singularity diagnosis to exactly pinpoint where those problem areas might be. So now we can see exactly, those are where the stresses change. And from here, maybe you want to add fillets or add some other design changes. Also, in 2018, we can import study features. And so if we take a look at this antenna, maybe we want to find out, the loads that happen while this vehicle is moving. And so when we're taking a look at the top level assembly, we want to save time. So we want to go ahead and import study features from our parts that we're working with. So we can go ahead and choose which parts we want to pull that from. And we can also choose, whether we want to bring out all our fixtures, our loads, and all the other important information from simulation. Also, in 2018, we get some updated pin connectors, where we could go ahead and select our cylindrical faces or edges, and we could do this all under one feature. And so with our pin connectors, we could select 2 up to 10 entities for these pin connectors. And it's going to save us a lot of time, and we still have the control over these pin connectors. Also, when we're dealing with, in 2017, when we want to go ahead and save time by copying studies, we can go ahead and do that, for example, by going from linear to nonlinear to linear dynamic. And then when we're dealing with these nonlinears and linear dynamics, these studies tend to take a bit of time to do. So in 2018, we have an option to get these email notifications. So under the notification tab, we could say, email when the simulation is completed. So it gives us the control over doing other things and leaving this simulation to run, and it frees up our time. So we can go ahead and set these studies and going ahead and getting our results in a matter of time. A new tool for 2018 is topology studies. And this is going to allow us to optimize our design forms already from our concept stage. We can set our goals based on our real-life conditions, and we could have more than one load case at once. We can include our manufacturing process as well as route to additive manufacturing. And let's take a look at how this topology study works. We have our simulation study on the left-hand side, so it's the same as other simulation studies. We do have our connections, we have our fixtures, we have our loads, and new for 2018 with our topology studies, we have goals and constraints. And part of that is choosing what we want our goal to be. So for example, this is our stiffness to weight ratio, and we can reduce the mass in this case. So in this case, we have a reduced mass by 70%. And we can also have another constraint on that point. Once we have that set, we have manufacturing controls. So we could go in, we can specify a thickness if you want it to be thinner. We can also have something called demold. And this means that on our part, we might want to take out some of these pockets. That's how we're going to make that, reduce the mass by 70%. So we go ahead and go to our part, we select the pull direction, which part it's going to be, and then we can go ahead and press OK. And now taking a look at our finished part, we can see exactly how that demold works. So we can see, where that material is being taken out of, and we still maintain the strength of the part because it's still taking into consideration the load, and we can still specify, we can still display our material mass plot by going in and choosing whether we want it heavy or whether we want it light. So we're still maintaining that goal, the best stiffness to weight ratio, but we want to go ahead and minimize the mass as much as possible because that will allow us to save, money, and it will make us more efficient with our products. Lastly, in 2017, something new came out, which is simulation display. Now inside of our model display in our top level, we can take a look at how that part is going to look like and flow with the rest of our design. Great new features inside of SOLIDWORKS plastics as well. Our meshing interface has been redesigned. We have clamp force improvements, so that rather than rotating our parts, we have that as a separate boundary condition. We also have clipping plane improvements, as well as flow simulation accuracy improvements. And speaking about flow simulation, let's move on to our flow simulation product. Now we get free surface flow by working with immiscible liquids. cyclic symmetry, as well as noise prediction, all throughout Flow Simulation 2018.
Very cool. Some very cool enhancements in simulation. That topology study is unbelievable. Being able to start right from concept, get all of those high stress areas, being able to 3DP right away.
Yep.
Very, very cool enhancements. Just to remind you guys, with the hashtag SW2018Canada, if you guys want to win some of those online gift cards, keep sending us your favorite features of SOLIDWORKS 2018 so far. And we're going to take a trip from design into communication now. So SOLIDWORKS has some great communication solutions in the SOLIDWORKS Innovation Platform, and they have received some great enhancements in 2018 as well. We're going to start with 3D Interconnect. So 3D Interconnect was a huge new product in 2017 that came in every level of SOLIDWORKS, and allowed us to work with that third-party native CAD geometry from things like Inventor and Solid Edge, in CATIA, that sort of thing. And now in 2018, we can do the same thing with OpenCAD file format. So we can handle STEP, IGES, and ASYS, or SAT files. We can also bring in reference planes and unconsumed sketches, as well as import custom properties when we import 3D Interconnect parts. So let's take a look at some of these great enhancements in 3D Interconnect. So we'll start by inserting a 3D Interconnect part into our assembly, and it's just like inserting any other part that we would normally insert. Now, if we go to my drop-down here, you can see I've got a number of new file types that I can utilize, like STEP, IGES, and ASYS. So we're going to go ahead and grab a SAT file. And when I bring this into my assembly, remember that it's reading the file. It's not translating anything. So we're going to go ahead and drop that into our assembly. And we can do really anything with this that we can do with a normal SOLIDWORKS part. We could change appearances. We could go ahead and add mates to it. And in this particular case, I'm going to throw in a quick profile center mate, which is a fantastic mate that was introduced in SOLIDWORKS 2015. And very quickly, I can mate this 3D Interconnect part into place. You might also notice as well in 3D Interconnect that if we look in the feature tree, I've got planes and sketches in their own folders. And we can bring in those unconsumed sketches. So this can make things really easy when it comes to adding in sketch geometry that might already exist. In this particular case, maybe I want to make a cutout for this instrument here. I can use that unconsumed sketch to quickly convert my entities, maybe get rid of any of the geometry that I don't need, and very quickly I can create a cutout in this part. So certainly these new enhancements in 3D Interconnect can help us get a lot more done faster. Also, when we open up new parts in 3D Interconnect, in this case maybe I'll grab a quick Inventor part, it reads the model in, and all of my custom properties are read in as well. So this makes it really easy when it comes to automatically populating bill of materials, or just making it so I don't have to manually input all of my custom properties. So great new enhancements to 3D Interconnect in SOLIDWORKS 2018. Also is SOLIDWORKS Visualize. So Visualize is a great product, came out in 2016 and really revolutionized the way that we photorealistically render our CAD data. And in 2018, there's been some great enhancements, starting with the fact that I now have all of my PhotoView 360 assets inside of Visualize. So whatever materials or appearances that you use in SOLIDWORKS for PhotoView 360, when brought into Visualize, are all going to come over perfectly. And you can also use them in Visualize with a quick drag and drop. We've got a refreshed user interface in Visualize. We have a new light and dark theme, as well as things are a little bit more organized in different tabs, a little bit easier to find. And also they're spread out a little bit more as well, just in case you're using a touch device or a tablet. The new area lights in Visualize 2018 are unbelievable. So this is in Visualize Professional. We've got things like planes, spheres, strip lights, and they can be positioned in just a click. You can say exactly where you want to shine the light, and that's where it shines. So you can really control all of your reflections, get magazine quality photos directly from your CAD information. And they work in fast mode. So you can get things like interior renders done incredibly quickly without having to wait for accurate mode to render out. Also, Visualize takes a step into VR. So whether you've got an Oculus or a little $15 Google Cardboard, it's very, very easy to see your photorealistic renders in virtual reality. And here to tell us more about all these great features is our Visualize expert, Alan Topich.
Today's consumers expect to imagine and engage with your products well before they go into production. Let's take a look at how SOLIDWORKS Visualize 2018 helps you create even more compelling experiences for your customers. Opening your models in SOLIDWORKS Visualize is simple. Now you can also choose to import predefined cameras, views, and lights directly from SOLIDWORKS. The 3-direction lights from SOLIDWORKS are accessible from the Scenes tab. By default, they're turned off, but you can choose to enable them if required. Predefined views automatically populate the Cameras tab and help you reuse the standard views and custom cameras directly from SOLIDWORKS. As you'd expect, you have full control over perspective and depth of field, meaning less rework to get greater results from your SOLIDWORKS models. While we've been working with the model, you may have noticed some updates to the user interface. Icons have been totally redesigned and are now spaced apart to help the touchscreen displays. Sub-tabs in the palette make things simpler, avoiding lengthy scrolling to find the settings you need. The in-context menus on the right mouse button also have been simplified, helping you home in on the perfect result faster than ever. If you're familiar with SOLIDWORKS, then you will really appreciate the new view presets. Standard orthographic views are now available in a single click, including isometric views from all 4 corners. If you need to lock the cameras, then you can also do that within the View preset dialog. Another nice enhancement is Zoom to Fit, either from this menu or by pressing the F key. And finally, within the user interface options, you can now choose between the default dark theme and a new, brighter, light theme. After taking a close-up of the coffee mugs, let's take a look at the improvements to SOLIDWORKS appearances. SOLIDWORKS appearances like glass, metals, and plastics are available either through the cloud or local libraries, giving you easy access to these familiar assets. Let's paint our models with a couple of these materials and start to bring your design to life. Brand new to SOLIDWORKS Visualize Professional 2018 is the ability to add area lights to your model. By selecting a point on the model, the area light is added as a physical rectangular light. In addition to the traditional directional lights and spotlights, you can choose spheres, planes, discs, or tubes, simulating real-life situations like strip lights. The brightness of the tube light can easily increase or decrease. Adjusting the tube radius gives the model a sharp highlight, just like a strip light. To add different effects, you can even change the color of the light to anything you would like. The Transform tab lets you adjust the position of the light, either manually or by simply dragging across the input values. These kinds of rapid what-if adjustments really help to get that final magazine quality image quicker than ever. Of course, at any time you can decide to pick a different point on that model to target with the light, or even match the current camera position. The new area lights really help you bring your models to life. A big advantage here in SOLIDWORKS Visualize Professional 2018 is that these lights can be used in fast mode to rapidly increase the speed of rendering for complex indoor scenes such as vehicles, buildings, and aircrafts. SOLIDWORKS Visualize Professional 2018 introduces groundbreaking new technology to bring your products to life in virtual reality. The new spherical cameras places you right in the center of the action. Previewing the virtual sphere is just a button press away, allowing you to spin around to ensure environments, materials, and lightings are just right. Taking the experiences to a whole new level, you can even choose to create stereoscopic images, enabling a full 3D experiences for that user. This high-quality immersive environment can be enjoyed on any VR device, from the high-end handsets to a simple Google Cardboard. Another unique feature is the support for 360 animations, including fly-throughs, exploded views, and sun studies. All these new features in SOLIDWORKS Visualize 2018 help you stay ahead of the competition, accelerating the design review process and reducing the cost of expensive prototypes.
SOLIDWORKS Visualize is an amazing piece of technology that helps us with our realistic renderings. And it's got the added benefit that has it on standalone. Now, let's move on to Drawings. Drawings sees a number of enhancements for 2018, such as inserting our MBD 3D model views. We can do our advanced hull callouts. We get our layer support for cross-hatching. We get new options for our trailing zeros. We get broken out section view support, as well as when we're dealing with tables, we get all uppercase switch right from that option. So now let's jump through and take a look at Drawings. MBD is a great solution when we're looking to get away from those 2D drawings and have all our product and manufacturing information displayed. However, companies still might require that 2D drawing information. So now, in 2018, all our saved views can be displayed right onto our drawings. Jumping into our drawing level, now we can see exactly those views right from within our palette. So we can go ahead and place them right from within that drawing level and have everything set up. Moving on to another sheet with our advanced holes, we can go ahead and do that hole callout right from within and get all of that information that we need for that manufacturing. We also have controls on the left-hand side, such as reversing our callout order, and we have switching near and far side messages. Taking a look at this hatch, we have new options, such as having that layer information and switching that to a specific layer that we want. Taking a look at the top, we have some dimensions with our trailing zeros. New for 2018, we have new options under our document properties. We can go ahead and switch from Smart and show exactly and remove what we want. Switching to another sheet, taking a look at the section view, we can do a broken out section view within this section view. We go ahead and select, and now we have a randomized scale option, so that'll differentiate between the two hatches. And we can go ahead and choose the depth and go ahead and press OK. And now we have a broken out section view within that section view. And we can do this with any shape. Taking a look at this alternate position view, we can go ahead and select that, and again have a randomized scale. And let's change this to 40 millimeters. And now we have a nice graphic representation of that broken out section view within different views. On sheet number 1, we have a table, and this table has uppercase, we have lowercase, and it's not the company standard that we need. We can go ahead and change everything to uppercase by just a click of a button from this pop-up toolbar. And now we have everything all uppercase ready to go. Moving on to eDrawings, eDrawings sees a nice enhancement for a user interface refresh. We get increased performance. We get that option for graphics boost. We can attach step files on exporting SOLIDWORKS assemblies and parts. And we also have full step AP242 support in eDrawings. And here to talk about it is our account manager, Rushdie Arabi.
eDrawings 2018 introduces many new enhancements to make collaboration with suppliers and manufacturers simpler and more powerful. You now have the option in SOLIDWORKS to embed decals within the part or assembly file. Previously, eDrawings would only display standard decals stored locally. Now every decal can be accurately displayed in eDrawings 2018. You now instantly see if any markups have been created with a new indicator down in the markup icon. A brand new quick access toolbar helps you get to commands such as open, save, print, and options. And the plus icon next to the components tabs gives you a shortcut to quickly open a file. A new open progress indicator keeps you updated on how eDrawings is doing getting the assembly loaded. eDrawings 2018 now supports the very latest graphics pipelines. Make sure Graphics Boost is set to fastest speed to take advantage of the performance improvements. If you need to move components or make a measurement, you can now set the units to feet and inches. This gives you more flexibility in the day-to-day integration of models. Switching back to SOLIDWORKS, model-based definition is a great way to communicate your designs without the need to create 2D drawings. 3D views contains dimensions and other annotations for multiple configurations of the design. SOLIDWORKS 2018 now lets you publish all of this information into a single file, containing Step 242 file attachments for each configuration. In addition, you can optionally set a password directly in the export dialog. Back in eDrawings 2018, the model is accurately displayed along with all the related dimensions and 3D views for the default configuration. The 3D view of the other configurations can be shown with the new Show All option. eDrawings also indicates the configuration name at the bottom of the screen to remove any confusion. The attachments specified in SOLIDWORKS are also clearly visible. Each attached step file can be viewed, extracted to disk, or deleted. eDrawings 2018 now fully supports the viewing of Step 242 files. This includes the cross-highlighting of dimensions to the corresponding geometry, helping manufacturers understand the design and reducing the chance of errors. All these enhancements help collaboration through driving smarter decisions across your supply chain.
eDrawings is an amazing tool. I mean, it gets our information across on, companies use it for shop floors. And
oh, absolutely, it's huge.
Yeah.
And the new graphics boost is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Makes it super, super quick.
Definitely. And you know what? We went through, we've shown, we can communicate everywhere and with everyone throughout these new tools for 2018. And now let's jump in and take a look at, managing development throughout SOLIDWORKS 2018. And starting that off is Treehouse. And Treehouse was introduced in 2015. It gave us a nice assembly view of our parts. So we start off with our top level assembly, and it gives us a nice graphical representation of what our sub-assemblies include and our drawings on that point. And in 2018, we can display our assembly structure in list view. And from there, we can go ahead and export that to Excel if we wanted to. We have new options to zoom to area, as well as our middle mouse button, double click to zoom extents. And we have new print options in 2018. And here to talk about it is our application expert, Colin Murphy.
SOLIDWORKS Treehouse is a powerful tool for creating and managing assembly structures. Now, in Treehouse 2018, it's even easier to view a specified area of an assembly by using the new Zoom to Area command. Simply drag a rectangle over the area of the assembly you want to enlarge, and it's brought into view, making it quick to navigate assembly structures that would otherwise be too large to fit on your screen. Using Treehouse has always been a great way of managing the custom properties of SOLIDWORKS documents. Now in 2018, your assembly structures can be viewed in table form using the new List View display option. The resulting table makes it easy to view all the available properties for each document, plus additional information such as active configuration, file path, and quantity, all in one place. The resulting table makes it easy to view all the available properties for each document, plus additional information such as active configuration, file path, and quantity, all in one place. At any time, your preferred layout can be created by repositioning columns with a simple drag, and property information can be quickly modified by double-clicking the required cell. When you have finished, any changes that have been made to the table cells are instantly reflected back in the structure view. In this example, the quantity value of the shock assembly. Treehouse 2018 introduces some great new options to give you more control when printing your assembly structure. The new print display, combined with a new print preview option, enable you now to easily print any part of an assembly structure with minimal effort. All these great new enhancements in Treehouse 2018 will make you even more productive when managing your assembly structures.
Wow, Treehouse is such a cool tool in SOLIDWORKS. Been there for quite some time now, and it's great for really mapping out at a very high level what your project or your assembly is going to look like. So I encourage you to give it a shot if you haven't tried it already. Some great enhancements in SOLIDWORKS PDM, staying on that manage side of things. We can now branch or merge out our designs. This is really cool. So if we're not sure which way we want to go with a design, we can branch out from our assembly in as many iterations as we want to, work on all of them all at the same time, and then once we know which design we want to go with, we can sub it back in or merge it back into our assembly. So very, very cool for SOLIDWORKS PDM. This is great, again, for new design ideas. Engineering changes. Sometimes you don't know how you're going to fix an engineering change. Well, now you can work on multiple solutions at once and sub in the one that makes the most sense. Or if you're working with external clients or vendors, sometimes they don't know what they want, or you want to be able to give them a few different options. You can work on all of those options all at once, and when they pick the one they want to go with, it's really quick to just sub that right back into the assembly. So branch and merge is a very, very cool new tool in SOLIDWORKS PDM. Also, SOLIDWORKS PDM now has full revision table integration, meaning if I've got a revision table in my drawing and I want to be able to have it track all of the revision notes and pop the revision in automatically for me, SOLIDWORKS PDM will do that for me. All I have to do is update with a note, and it takes care of everything else. So there's no manual entry of those custom properties anymore. Also, a new solution from SOLIDWORKS in 2018, and this is very exciting, is the new SOLIDWORKS Manage. This is for project management. This goes beyond PDM. First of all, it builds onto SOLIDWORKS PDM as well. So if you already have a Vault or you're thinking about going with PDM, This can sit right on top. It can do things like item and BOM management. It gives us full interactive dashboard so that we can tell where we are with milestone dates. We can assign tasks to users, and we can see exactly where we are in our project at all times. So here to tell us about this new great product and the great enhancements in SOLIDWORKS PDM is our Senior Account Manager, Allison McLaughlin.
Exploring new design ideas is an important way to refine a design, and now, with the new branch and merge capability of SOLIDWORKS PDM, this task is a breeze. Regardless of its release state, parts, assemblies, or drawings can be branched, and their structure is recognized. The destination folder can be defined, as well as the prefix or suffix for the file name, and individual files can be included or excluded from the branch. The branched file is identical to its source. Here, 2 other branches have been created and refined. When you decide on the preferred design, it can be easily merged back. SOLIDWORKS PDM recognizes the source file and merges it as a new version, even if the source file was renamed or moved. When the assembly is opened, we can see that the refined design is in place. Now, with the new branch and merge tool, error-prone, copy, change, and overwrite techniques are no longer needed. Tracking design changes is often done with revision tables, and now the revision table has a direct integration to SOLIDWORKS PDM. As a new revision is added, notice that the revision number is indicated with an asterisk. That is because this change has not yet been approved, and the revision number is controlled by SOLIDWORKS PDM. Comments can be added to the revision table, but the approved field remains blank. When the drawing is checked in, all information is extracted from the drawing, including the information from the revision table. After the approval process is complete, the workflow transition sets the revision number and the approver and updates all fields on the drawing. The revision table, the revision callouts, and the title block are all up to date. It has never been easier to explore new design ideas with branch and merge, and the new bidirectional communication between revision tables and PDM will make sure that everyone on the design team is up to date. Also new to SOLIDWORKS 2018 is SOLIDWORKS Manage. SOLIDWORKS Manage is a new solution that builds on the global file manage capabilities, SOLIDWORKS PDM Professional, with a unique set of advanced data management tools for project, process, and item management, along with interactive dashboards and reports. SOLIDWORKS Manage provides comprehensive, easy-to-use and implement capabilities that eliminate the need to use separate, disconnected tools and silos of data. With the project management functionality in SOLIDWORKS Manage, organizations can plan each stage of their projects, assign resources and tasks, and attach required documentation to the project. Projects are always live and up to date with activity by all concerned, not just the project manager, and when users complete their work, the project progress is automatically updated. Complex business processes such as ECR, ECN, or new product approvals can be defined to company standards. With its drag and drop workflow designer, process states and decision points can be configured, and user tasks, permissions, and notifications can be easily assigned. SOLIDWORKS Manage also offers a powerful dashboard and flexible reporting functionality to provide instant access to critical business information. SOLIDWORKS Manage provides an easy upgrade path from SOLIDWORKS PDM Professional or Standard to a distributed data management system that can be utilized by many different groups within an organization to deliver cohesive information to all areas of their business.
Wow, so SOLIDWORKS Manage is a great new addition when it comes to managing all of our project information.
Yeah, the way it manages our projects, and again, the way it manages our bill of materials, that's seamless. So.
That's huge. Yeah, absolutely. BOM management is fantastic. Yeah. Now moving into manufacturing and starting off with model-based definition. So model-based definition is a great way to ditch our 2D drawings and have all of our manufacturing information directly on our parts and on our assemblies. And in model-based definition for 2018, we can now use datums in more places. Places like pattern features. We can have general all-over profile tolerances. We can display our PMI in more places. And we can import Pro-E, NX, CATIA, and Step 242 files with their PMI intact as notes. Also, we can export Step 242 files with machine-readable annotations. So let's take a look at some of these great new enhancements and features in SOLIDWORKS model-based definition. Oh, before we get there though, let's look at how we can get out some of our 3D PDFs in model-based definition too, because there have been some great enhancements there as well. We've got brand new PDF templates. We can use more types of custom properties in our 3D PDFs. We can bring in 3D notes to populate our notes field in our 3D PDFs, as well as we can automatically animate through our 3D views as a little slideshow. So starting with this part here, you can see we've already got some PMI and some DIM Expert directly in our assembly. But let's pop into this part here. So in this case, we want to put in the PMI for this part, and we've got a hole pattern at the back here that's really essential to how this part fits together. In this case, we want to make it a datum. And in 2018, we can do that by just simply starting a datum and clicking on the pattern feature. So this is a great new enhancement, and you know, this is a case that we generally come up against quite a bit. Also, with notes, it's a great way to interpret information through the 3D notes. And now we can add a general all-over profile tolerance. And in this case, we added it directly in the note. And this is a fully editable field. We can go into our GTOL, we can pop in a different amount, and you can see it automatically updates right inside of our notes dialog. If we switch back to the assembly, we can now display part-level PMI directly in our assembly. And also, we can have SOLIDWORKS automatically create PMI for us. So between two mating parts, we can just tell SOLIDWORKS these two parts are mated together. Please create all of the PMI information for me. As soon as we hit OK, SOLIDWORKS does all the heavy lifting and automatically creates the PMI. So very, very cool and very nice time-saving new feature in model-based definition. When it comes to our 3D PDFs, we've got a lot of great options in 2018 to further the capabilities of 3D PDFs. Things like being able to take our 3D notes and automatically have them pass through to our notes sections. Also, we have configuration-specific custom properties available. We can have configuration-specific views, and now those properties follow through as well. And with one touch, we can automatically cycle through all of our views in our 3D PDF to get a nice sense of the overall of our part. Also, other output from MBD besides 3D PDF, we can also output to eDrawings. And now when we publish to eDrawings, as we saw before, we can automatically attach a STEP AP242 with full machine-readable PMI. These are very easy to get to. If you just open the attachments dialog, we can quickly preview or download any of these STEP AP242 files. And these can be fully passworded to make sure only the right people get them. And of course, with the new eDrawings capabilities, now we've got that full 242 support right inside of eDrawings. Also, we can import PMI directly into SOLIDWORKS. You can see we just hit that Include PMI button, and we get all of our annotations right away. We can see where all the PMI has been put on the part. All of the features highlight when we click on the PMI itself. We get nice little reference annotations knowing where all that manufacturing information is. So great new enhancements in model-based definition. And another great new product in the SOLIDWORKS innovation platform is SOLIDWORKS CAM. And this really is a nice segue from model-based definition because really the two softwares work very, very closely together. So SOLIDWORKS CAM, it's a new CNC programming software powered by CAMWorks. You're working directly inside the SOLIDWORKS environment, and it's both for part and assembly machining. There's kind of two levels of CAM there. And we can do 2.5-axis milling or 2-axis turning, and we have a full library of post-processors. So it's an exciting new option in SOLIDWORKS. It comes with automatic feature recognition or knowledge-based machining where we can apply best use manufacturing practices to automatically generate things like tooling and tool paths and everything like that directly inside of our parts or our assemblies. Also, because SOLIDWORKS is fully parametric, everything is associated. If I change any of the features inside of my part, it's going to automatically update all of my tool paths. So this makes it incredibly easy to utilize CAM, but also incredibly easy to learn it as well. We also have, utilizing the DIM Expert and the PMI in model-based definition, we can have tolerance-based machining, meaning that SOLIDWORKS CAM can automatically figure out the tolerances that it needs using things like manufacture to the mean and everything like that, so that we don't have to manually calculate any of our tolerancing. So here to talk about more on SOLIDWORKS CAM and this exciting new product for SOLIDWORKS is one of our senior account managers, Robert Scribbin.
SOLIDWORKS CAM delivers fully integrated, knowledge-based CNC programming right inside SOLIDWORKS. SOLIDWORKS CAM generates machining information fast, using automatic feature recognition, standard operations and strategies, defined with your own best practices including step over, cut depth, tool type and size, are instantly applied to the model, freeing up your time to focus on critical areas of the part. At any time, additional machining operations can be manually created using the SOLIDWORKS model geometry. Faces to machine and areas to avoid can be defined using the comprehensive suite of selection options, eliminating the need to create additional reference geometry on the part. Using SOLIDWORKS CAM's powerful simulation capabilities, cutter paths can be previewed and compared against the original model, helping you identify any potential problems or areas requiring further refinement long before physical parts are machined. Any changes made to the SOLIDWORKS design can be instantly applied to your machining operations and cutter paths, making it quick and easy to evaluate parts for manufacture much earlier in the development. SOLIDWORKS CAM delivers powerful knowledge-based CNC programming for part and assembly, milling and turning that provides a single integrated solution from design to manufacture. Tolerance-based machining in SOLIDWORKS CAM introduces powerful new capabilities that dramatically reduce the time required to generate CNC programs for parts with close tolerances and surface finish requirements. Leveraging DIM expert dimensions and model-based definition information applied directly to the 3D model with just a single button click, SOLIDWORKS CAM automatically applies your preferred machining strategies to the part based on the tolerance scheme. If the tolerance specification of a feature changes, SOLIDWORKS CAM automatically updates the machining operations using predefined rules that match your manufacturing best practices. Parts that took hours or even days to program can be programmed automatically in minutes. Asymmetric tolerances can be adjusted to mean values, and all of the tools, speeds, feeds, and depths of cuts are automatically selected to meet the model-based design requirements. Tolerance-based machining in SOLIDWORKS CAM streamlines design to manufacture, leveraging the power of model-based definition to automate CNC programming and reduce overall delivery times.
Another big part of manufacturing is getting our inspection documents in the shortest time possible. And SOLIDWORKS Inspection does exactly that. And let's first take a look at the add-in within SOLIDWORKS for SOLIDWORKS Inspection. In 2018, we can inspect our 3D parts and assemblies, and we can take advantage of those DIM Expert and MBD models. We can have our associative 3D characteristics, as well as export 3D PDF or eDrawings. Let's jump to SOLIDWORKS Inspection and take a look. Before, what we were working with in the add-in is just our SOLIDWORKS drawings. Now in 2018, we can take advantage of these MBD parts and our 3D models. Now, what we want to do is we want to start our inspection project. And part of that is choosing a template. And these templates are reading from our custom properties, as well as having these characteristic information saved, as well as our sampling. Next, what we want to do is we want to choose what dimensions we want to pull. So we can go ahead and have that control, and then when we're ready, and we press OK, it goes through and it balloons all of those dimensions that we selected. And by selecting on these dimensions, we get our full list of characteristics, and we can see our properties right on the left-hand side. So we can see exactly our upper limit, we can see our lower limit, and when we're ready, we can go ahead and export that to Excel. And this is where we're getting our first article inspection report, and you can see exactly how everything is updated and how we get a nice list of our characteristics. So again, new in 2018, we have more support for more formats, and we have that control over our dimensions. Next is the inspection standalone. So in the standalone, we have more 2D format support. We'll talk about that in a bit. We have our smart extraction tool. We have our new balloon options, as well as publishing reports with actual snapshots of our drawing. Jumping through, same as the add-in, we're going to go ahead and start a new project, and part of that is getting that project template. And once that's set, you can notice how we have another option for DWG. And in the past, 2017 and previous, we only had support for PDF and TIFFs. And so that meant if we're working from SOLIDWORKS, we had to convert it to PDFs and TIFFs. And now in 2018, we can go ahead and open DWGs straight from the standalone. And a new tool in 2018 is the Smart Extract. And this means that when we click on dimensions, it will automatically pull all that information that we need straight from there. So it's not just single clicks. We can go ahead and use our box selection method to select multiple items. And it goes ahead and balloons automatically. And you can see how it takes no time at all. It's not lagging. It's doing everything straight there. So if we take a look at the bottom here, we can see exactly our characteristics. So we can select and we can see, everything with our properties is with it, and we get all of the methods directly with it. So if we chose to have, CMM to be the inspection method for that particular balloon, we can have that set. And then if we go ahead on the left-hand side and select the classification, you can see how the balloon automatically changes based on the classification of that particular inspection method. So we could choose if it's a minor or a critical dimension, and the balloon changes with that exact one. And everything is on the bottom. And we can go ahead and rearrange and change the balloon numbers right from drag and drop method right on the bottom of the characteristic table. Another new feature is being able to have our sequences. So you can see that we can start from 1, and we can also choose to have sequence number 2. So we can start off with hundreds, so 100, 101, and we can go ahead and choose different sequences throughout our drawings, giving us that much more control over our inspection documents. Next, let's take a look at creating our Excel templates. So we can go ahead and select on a template, and then we can include document snapshots. For this example, we have a model, and then we can also, in 2018, have our screen captures. So we can go ahead and capture that particular display or viewing area and have that part of our first article inspection report. And so once we export it, we can see exactly how that looks like part of our Excel spreadsheet. So this gives us a nice preview of what our part looks like, as well as our drawing, and everything's included under one report. The inspection standalone also has support for 3D formats. It has support for CATIA as well as Creo, and we can also do a 3D model revision compare. And jumping into the software, we're going to create another new project, and part of this project is we want to open up different file formats. So we go ahead and just check on the filters. So instead of 2D files, we have options for 3D files, which here we can go ahead and select on this bracket, which is a Creo part. And opening it up, you can see how it comes in 3D. So we could go ahead on the right-hand side, choose what capture we want, and we go ahead and rotate around just as easily and manipulate the part. So you can see how all of the PMI information comes in, and we can go ahead and use the Smart Extract tool for these 3D models as well. So as we select them, you can see how our plus, minus tolerance, and everything for our characteristic information comes through. And not just single clicks, we can go ahead and do a box selection method. So now we can grab everything that's included from within these dimensions. And notice how on the bottom, we have all of our information located right then and there. And it's a very fast process. And again, our methods, our inspection methods, come from within when we select onto our balloons. And part of this now is what we want to do is want to go ahead and do a revision file compare. So we can go ahead and import revision CAD file. And part of Creo now is we can go ahead and select on a different revision. And so as soon as we click that, we get the option to do a automatic or a manual revision compare. As we select our automatic, we can see exactly what annotations have been deleted. We get that nice graphical representation through color coding, what's been modified, what's been new to the file, and of course everything is also displayed on the characteristic table on the bottom there. So we could go ahead and have that control over what we want to keep, and if you want to go ahead and accept that. And once we accept that, all our changes take place automatically. So we can go ahead and press OK, and everything gets done right then and there. Next, what we want to take a look at is just exporting to our Excel file, like we do with our 2D drawings, we can go ahead and send this off to Excel, and we can also include our document snapshots for these 3D parts as well, working in the standalone application. So we have our document snapshot, and we also have our forms for our first article inspection reports. So again, working with SOLIDWORKS Inspection, it's a streamlined process. It gets rid of all those tedious tasks, and it saves us a lot of time rather than manually ballooning everything.
Wow, that was fantastic. Ton of new enhancements and inspection, especially with that 3D support. Very, very cool. Moving into SOLIDWORKS Composer. So there's been a few enhancements in Composer in 2018. Some enhancements with appearances and textures, getting our files from SOLIDWORKS. Being able to bring in bill of materials from SOLIDWORKS as tables inside of SOLIDWORKS Composer. We've got a little bit more control with our digger tool. And we've got some more animation options. So let's jump right to animations. So we can now do one-click reversals of animations. So if you've got a part maybe moving out of a hole, very, very easy now to have it popping back in. All you do is you highlight what you want to reverse, you right-click, mirror the selected steps, done. Okay, so very, very quick to get those mirrored animations. Also, bill of materials from SOLIDWORKS can now be imported directly into Composer to make a table in Composer, which really eliminates the need for us to go in and do any kind of manual typing of that bill of materials into Composer. Also, what you get in SOLIDWORKS is what you get in Composer in 2018. Any appearances, especially display state appearances, any colors and textures, they're all going to import in Composer exactly how you see them in SOLIDWORKS. And the digger tool, now you just have an option. You can either turn it off or turn it on. You get a little bit more options in your player rights manager when it comes to giving content out. So you have more control with your digger tool in SOLIDWORKS Composer 2018.
That's awesome. A lot of nice new features for 2018.
Absolutely. And guys, just to remind you about the survey that's going to be going out to you guys. Also, just make sure that we get that completed by October 13th. You could win the Advanced Update online courses. There's a grand prize. You could win a MakerBot Mini for 3D printing. And also, if you still want more, we've got some in-person launch events coming up. We are in Cambridge and Winnipeg tomorrow, and we are in Toronto and Calgary on the 5th. So absolutely come out and see us on those days. Also, come the new year, we're going to have our rollout events for SOLIDWORKS 2018. So absolutely, we're going to have events all across Canada. Check out our website, javelin-tech.com, for that as well. And thank you so much for joining us today. Yep. Absolutely. So it was very exciting talking about the new enhancements in SOLIDWORKS 2018. If there's any questions about anything, especially any of the new things that you've seen today, don't hesitate to give your account managers or Javelin a call. And we're more than happy to talk about it with you. So thank you so much for joining us.
Take care.